Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. You know who it is, it's the best teeth in the game! And it's time for another episode of Let's Argue, where we get on the internet and argue. No, I jump online and I ask you guys for hot takes, controversial opinions, and tough questions, and I answer the best ones in video segments such as these. Kanye West isn't actually as crazy as he was when he dropped T-Lop. He is much more focused and aware of what he is saying. Also, he and Taylor Swift will go head to head for Album of the Year next year at the Grammys, and he will finally defeat the evil that she is. I kind of vibe with this to a degree. I don't think Kanye is as crazy as a lot of people are making him out to be. In fact, some of the people closest to him and have been talking to him recently, like Chance and like Kim, are saying that he's not erratic and he's not crazy and he's just being himself. This is who he is. And that is what I personally believe. I feel like Kanye is being himself. He is being his contrarian, drama-loving, controversy-seeking self. Like when I say that Kanye has no true allegiance to the right wing or the left wing, I say that because he has literally said that. He has literally tweeted that. When I say Kanye loves controversy, I say that because he has literally said that. He has literally tweeted that. And when I say that a lot of what he's doing right now to stir up people's emotions is all in an attempt to promote his new album, I say that because he literally put up a video on his Twitter account showcasing a TMZ headline talking about how, hey, he's actually pretty level-headed and just planning his new album release. So Kanye, I admire the guy for being a master manipulator. You know, that's what he does. Every new album has to have some kind of hype up, some kind of controversy, something to make the fans go crazy, whether it's Good Fridays, whether it's the T-Lop album promotional cycle with all the changes, whether it's the 50 Cent beef album sales war, whether it's the numerous mic drops and a variety of other things that have kind of caught him heat in the mainstream media. Kanye always needs something to promote his albums with, some kind of big change, some kind of left hook, some kind of alteration of course that is going to, I guess, kind of do a bit of a heel turn on the fans' expectations to get them riled up, make them go nuts, spark their curiosity. I feel like in this instance, he's taking a little too far in that he's trying to basically capitalize off of the political and social and cultural division in this country currently, which I think is kind of in bad taste, but you know, the dude loves controversy. I'm not shy myself when it comes to the subject of controversy either. I'm not a controversy hater, but I just wish at the end of the day that people would kind of acknowledge his actions for what they are. He's not like a member of the alt-right. He clearly loves Donald Trump because Donald Trump has this kind of magnetic ego and this buffoonish, I'm going to throw my weight around everywhere personality type that is just a conduit for controversy, which Kanye obviously loves. You know, if you're deluded enough to think that what Kanye loves the wall, what Kanye wants to kick trans people out of the military, what Kanye wants to sign on to tons of Donald Trump's policies. He even said himself on Twitter he doesn't agree with him on quite a bit of stuff. He also said on Twitter that he loves Hillary too. He goes against the grain. Even in instances where going with it makes the most logical sense, because Kanye doesn't always act logically. He has a track record across his career of not acting logically, because he's the type of person who creates this monsoon of drama, this monsoon of controversy, and then he just surfs the waves. That's what he does. If you think this is the first time that he's turned his fans against himself and also gotten the media pissed off at him, you're sorely mistaken. And if you think his recent Twitter tirades are going to ruin his career, you're really naive. Everyone loved J. Cole's album Till Your Review. I mean, I would love for everyone to think that I have that kind of influence, that I could just be like, this album's bad, everyone hates it now. I mean, I know a lot of people joke about that, and every once in a while there are some people who end up feeling that way when my thoughts make them have a bit of a second take with a record. But before my review dropped, I was seeing tons of hate and tons of memes toward that record. So, I mean, ugh. Vaporwave and its subsequent subgenres are the most important thing to happen to music since the new millennium. Passing it off as some meme 80s nostalgia genre is underselling it big time. Most of the biggest trending artists today are influenced by it, unintentional or not. Then you go on to say some of those artists are Paramore, XXXTentacion, Little Uzi Vert, Muse, Drake, Clyrode, Mac DeMarco, so on and so on. I don't see how Vaporwave influences any of these artists. In fact, I have had contact with at least a few of them who've said they hate Vaporwave. However, that's not to say that some good records didn't come out of the genre, and also that there aren't some great artists who have dabbled or actually laid some of the groundwork for the genre. James Ferraro, frickin' One of Tricks Point Never, Daniel Lopatin, you know. And a lot of Vaporwave records, while they may be, you know, labeled as what you think like a meme name or something, I mean, a lot of them dabble in some legitimately interesting plunderphonics music and ambient. And quite a bit of the scene has inspired a lot of electronic producers as well who are quite relevant. Now, would I say it's the most important thing to happen to music since the new millennium? I wouldn't say that, but it's certainly one of the more hefty underground movements going on in music right now, and certainly not worth writing off. Bad singing is underrated. I think at the end of the day, it's a little bit of a balance. I think singers who are a bit more amateurish in tone can convey quite a bit of personality through the flaws in their singing ability. There can be something that's a bit of a turnoff if a singer is just too trained, too squeaky clean, doesn't have any kind of grit or personality. When your singing is perfect and robotic and basically to the point where it's methodical, it kind of sucks the humanity out of the performance a little bit. Which I think doesn't just extend to singing, but I think music production in general right now. I don't think there's enough appreciation of the mistakes and the blemishes that can come up in a more organic recording. I think that this can be mixed interestingly with this new wave of very hyper accurate and quantized music production technology that we see everywhere. But again, I think it's a matter of finding a balance. Green Day's American Idiot is not only one of the most definitive records of the 2000s from a cultural standpoint, but it's also an excellent record. Probably the best and most ambitious album to come out of the whole pop punk movement. Yeah, and it's also one of the most sterile punk records of all time. It's also one of the most annoyingly sung punk records of all time. Not to mention the fact that the political commentary on this record is pretty cheap as well. Pretty much the height of the "I hate George Bush, rock against Bush" cringe fest. I mean, George Bush sucks, and he sucked. And he's a war criminal and a piece of trash. But in the 2000s, there was a lot of awful music about him. There truly was. You chose to become vegan because you don't support the unethical treatment of animals, but most of what we consume, whether it be chocolate, laptops, smartphones, hell, even music, are made by similar unethical practices, actors. So isn't it an inconsistency? Being vegan for me, and probably a lot of other people as well, is about lessening your impact on the environment, lessening the harm that you put onto other sentient beings. If you can do that by something as simple as just not eating animal products or meat products, just like, why not? It's so easy. You're basically making this argument that because other things hurt things too, then why do anything? Well, there will always be a bad thing, so why do a good thing? Which is just like a stupid defeatist mindset that I just don't fuck with. That's just a stupid way of looking at the world. It's a head-ass way of looking at the world. And I'm going to leave it at that. You guys are the best. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out in the Let's Argue series. And that's all. Forever.